Hey everybody, it's me again. Okay, so yesterday I started talking about the miracle morning, and we started with the first step, which was silence. So today I want to move into step number 2. If you got on the call yesterday or you went and read the blog that I posted, then let me know if you got up this morning, if you did your minute of silence, and how it went. I really, really want to hear back from you if you were able to get up and do that today. And if not, I encourage you to try again tomorrow. I about messed up this morning. I went to bed late last night and I did not set my alarm. So this morning I did not have time to miracle morning anything. But moving into step number 2, kind of want to backtrack a little bit before I get into what it is and really talk about, just like I titled the video, I'm the mean girl. I remember when I first moved to Florida, I came from Michigan. I was about 10, I think. It was right when I was getting ready to start 6th grade, the summer before. And I moved from this small town in Michigan. It was, everybody got along. It was great. Pretty country out there. And then I moved to South Florida, which was culture shock. I moved into Boca Raton, Florida, which, there's a lot of money there. Totally different environment. The personalities that moved there, totally different. Hi, Carolina. Hey, Grayson. And the expectation of living there was completely different than where I came from in Michigan. And so it was very, very hard to transition and to make good friends. So when I first moved into our neighborhood, it was a brand new neighborhood. Houses were just going up. And I met a girl named Allison. We're still friends today. We were about the same age. She was slightly younger than I was. But we had both just moved. She came from New York and I came from Michigan. So we clicked. We hit it off. It was great. The Boca bubble. Yes. And then there was another girl that moved into the neighborhood, and I will not say her name because it wasn't so great with her if other people were around. So we were really good friends when it was just the two of us, but then once school started, I wasn't good enough for her anymore. And so it was very, very difficult through middle school and high school, through middle school. With this particular group of people made my life a living hell. And you would think that I learned from that going into high school and how to treat people, but instead what happened was I sort of built this wall and this these are the things I have to do in order to have friends. These are this is the way that people act here. And I need to act this way if I want to have these friends too. And so I clearly remember pitching a fit because I had to get the $10 scrunchy socks from Bloomingdale's. $10 for one pair of socks. I'm so sorry to my mom. And so into high school, I feel like I was pretty fun to be around most of the time, but I definitely treated people a way that wasn't appropriate. I definitely was nasty to people. I think that we all kind of have that phase where we do things like that, and we kind of learn from that as we get older. So what happens is, as an adult, that whole thing shifted to where I spend my entire day, every day, trying to help other people and trying to be a positive person for other people. And what I have found in reading this book is that the person that I am the meanest to and the person that I talk nasty and disgusting and ugly and just say things to all day long is myself. I am so mean to myself. I would never say the things to other people that I tell myself. And I think, I don't want to generalize it, but I definitely, the good old days, I definitely feel like this happens more with women than it does with men. I feel like we could look at ourselves in the mirror and we could pinpoint every little thing that we feel like isn't right. And we don't just look at it and let it go. We thrive on that. That's the thing that we focus on. We don't always focus on the progress. We focus on the negative and the things that we want to change and the things that we don't like and the things that aren't good enough. And those are the things that we tend to focus on when we talk about ourselves. And so what I started doing was implementing affirmations. And when I first started hearing about affirmations, I really was like, this is so weird, and I don't want any part of this. It's so weird. Why would you talk to yourself? Like, how does that help anything? And it's just, a lot of people that I knew were doing these affirmations, and they were talking about doing affirmations, and I'm like, you guys are a bunch of loony bins, like just sitting around, like talking to the universe. Who are you talking to? I don't get it. And so step 2 in this book was affirmations, and I was like, awesome. If I'm going to commit to the 6 steps in this book, then I'm going to have to commit to doing these stupid affirmations. As I was going through the book, one of my friends from high school posted a video of himself, and he was jumping on a mini trampoline. Carolina, maybe you'll remember this. He was jumping on a mini trampoline, and he was screaming in the mirror like a crazy person. I hope he watches this video. Like a crazy person. Screaming about like how he's awesome and he's gonna have a great day and all these things, and he's just screaming at himself in the mirror, jumping on this trampoline. And I remember thinking, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's so odd. Like, it's so weird. So I did not buy a mini trampoline, and I do not scream at myself in the mirror. But what I do is I have shifted the way that I speak to myself, which is really hard. And I have to remind myself of this repeatedly throughout the day. So when I say positive affirmations, yes, you can write things down in the mirror. You can leave sticky notes. That's really more visualization than affirmation. Affirmation really is saying it out loud. And so you really do. You sit down. After you have your moment of silence, and you sit down and you just say out loud the things that you want. The beauty of an affirmation is you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe what you're saying. If you wake up in the morning and you have a custody hearing that day, you're going to divorce court that day, that you have this huge meeting at work that you're not prepared for, whatever it is that is going to happen that day, take those negative, bad things that we have and put a positive spin on them. So for example, we have a money jar. The kids and I have a money jar. We just kind of throw spare change in there. And I said to the kids, I was like, well, we can use this money, and if we ever take a vacation, then, we can have this money to take a vacation with. And then I got to thinking, like, if I say that, the jar is never going to get full. We're never going to have the time to take a vacation. This is never going to happen. It's just going to be a jar that sits on top of the fridge. And you know what happened? It was a jar that has sat on top of the fridge and barely ever gets money put into it. So we have now changed that to say we're going to fill this jar by the end of the year. So come Christmas time, we can take a really fun vacation. And we started putting money in it again. And when I see it, I'm like, oh, we got to get that thing full by December. So instead of it just being this, if this were to happen, if we fill this jar, then maybe we could take a vacation. Now we have this goal, and it will be filled by December, and we will go on vacation in December with all of this spare change that we've set aside. I hear a lot of women say, there's no good guys out here. Guys suck. I don't have a boyfriend. Or, I had a boyfriend and he screwed up and now we're not dating anymore. And I read a book called You Are a Badass. And one of my favorite parts in this book was when she said, she was actually speaking on this very thing. And she said, if you say there are no good guys to date, it's just an example. She's like, is that really, like, did all of the good guys in the entire world just disappear? Did they all just get taken away, that there are no good guys anymore? Obviously that's not true. And so then you have to shift your mindset to, I'm going to find a man that values my time. I'm going to find a man that values who I am. So it's just shifting that mindset. That's really what an affirmation is. And like I said, the beauty of it is you don't have to believe what you're saying, because what happens is the more you say it, the more consistent you are, the more you're going to believe what you're saying, and then your actions are going to change. Take her with you, Ben. your actions are going to change. So then you start to act a certain way based off of this affirmation. And that's why the affirmations work. It's not some mystery, universal power. You're not just speaking out to, I mean, I don't know, maybe some people believe that. I do not. But, you know, I don't believe that you're just speaking out into some mysterious universe. I really believe that what happens is when you say things repeatedly, you believe them. You tell yourself you're fat and ugly enough, you believe that you're fat and ugly. You act like you're fat and ugly. You change the way that you dress because you start to cover up feeling like you don't have any confidence. So the more you tell yourself something, the more you're going to believe it and the more you're going to act on that. So you have a choice. You can tell yourself all kinds of negative crap about yourself and who you are and what you do and what you can do and what you're going to do. Or you can shift that mindset. Stop being the mean girl to yourself. Stop being the mean girl to yourself and start speaking positively about yourself. Positively about who you are and what you're going to do and what you're going to accomplish. So here's the drill. Before you say something to yourself, think about if it's something that you would say to somebody else. If you wouldn't tell somebody else that they look hideous in an outfit and, God, this outfit makes my butt look big, or do you see this roll right here when I wear these pants? If you don't look at somebody else and tell them to their face, like, you shouldn't wear those pants because it gives you a roll right there, then you shouldn't say that to yourself. Figure out another way to say it that's a positive way. Like, you know what? I may have a roll right here, but it's smaller than it was last month. Like, find something positive to say about it or change your outfit. Either way. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to pay attention to how many times you think negatively about yourself. Whatever it is. I guarantee you it's more than you think it is. And then if you start to shift the way that you speak to yourself, you're no longer being the mean girl to yourself. Because I think, or I know personally, that's exactly what happened to me, is I am so mean to myself. And the things I say to myself, I would never say to anybody else. So I have a whole article about this that I've written out. I'm going to post it to my blog, and I will post that link later. So if you want to check back later on and click on that blog link, you can go in and read what I wrote. There's actually a really cool scientific research in there of what actually happens to people who do affirmations on a regular basis. I thought this was really interesting. It said people who do affirmations on a regular basis actually have stronger muscles, they have a more positive attitude, and they have more energy. Imagine that. Who knew? All right. Have a great day, guys. Look for that blog link under this video later. Thanks.